let's say I told you that f of x was 2x plus 3. And from there, I asked you to find, I said, if f of x is 2x plus 3, what is f of 5? Tell me what that means you do.
That means you times everything
Put
by
it in
5.
for X.
Put it in for x. You're exactly right. That is the key to this section. Whatever's in parentheses is what goes in the place of the x.
That's it.
Okay? I told you it's going to get increasingly harder. Just stay with me. Whatever is here replaces x. So this would be 2. It's not x anymore. Now it's 5. And I'm going to use parentheses because that's kind of better for us as we move on.
Where'd that 5 come
So it's
from?
13.
I gave you an example. I said, if I asked you to find f of 5. Yes, Bryce, you are correct. That would be 10 plus 3, which is 13. Okay? Does anybody struggle to understand that? What's in parentheses is what goes in place of the x. Okay, remember I told you I need you with me through, guys, each and every step because I'm going to add a little something to it each time as we go. So we understand when there's a number in parentheses, that's replacing the x, yes?
So whenever we do our homework, the number will already be there?
Yes, it'll say this is f of x, what is f of 5?
I did?
No. What if I took this same f of x and I said, what is f of y?
We're going to plug y in, it's going to be 2y plus 3, make it 5y.
No. You can't add 2y and 3 because they're not like terms, so you leave it.
2x, y.
Why just not take over x?
The x goes away.
Divide.
Whatever is in parentheses replaces the x. It was f of x, now it's f of y. So that goes away and it replaces it.
So how do you solve that?
You're not. It's already simplified. You don't do anything else with it. Right
So
now,
it's
just
gonna be
plugging
2y
in.
plus 3?
It's just 2y plus 3. Nope.
So no matter what's in those parentheses,
No matter what's in that parentheses, if I asked you to find, let's say I asked you to find f of McGee.
so it'd be 2.
It doesn't, the point is, it doesn't matter what's in parentheses, Bryce. What matters is that what's in parentheses is taking the place of the x. Guys, I need y'all up here. I've got conversations going on everywhere and I need you here. This is tough. Okay, whatever's in parentheses is what's replacing the x. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Then what if I asked you to find this? You're exactly right, Jordan. I'm still going to replace the x. It replaces with x plus 1. The plus 3 is still there. And I would distribute the 2 because I can. Yes, Bryce?
Alright, so it ain't x squared.
No, because you don't put another x in there. You completely, if you could come here and pull that out and put this x plus 1 in, that's what you would do.
So
It's
essentially,
completely taking the place of
so
it.
essentially it's going to be 2x plus 5.
Yes. I distributed here.
That's some sweet word.
I don't know what that means.
Whatever's in parentheses, the old x disappears and it gets replaced with what's in parentheses. Are y'all following me? Because I'm fixing to kick it up a notch.
Whoa.
Whoa,
Never
hold
would.
up.
Whatever's in parentheses, it does not matter what it is, it gets replaced. What are so funny? Okay. You say it.
I
Okay.
don't get that one. I got it.
You don't get this one.
No, I'm talking about the one you got to write down.
I haven't written it down yet. Oh my goodness.
Only a couple more weeks to get.
I'm gonna kick it up a notch here and add another function. And in fact, I'm gonna make it the x plus 1 that I just used. I'm gonna say, okay, now g of x is x plus 1. And you're used to having the functions defined. That's what you did last night, right?
Yeah.
So now, what if I asked you to find not f of a number, but f of another function?
And just put the x with
What is g of x?
x plus 1. So you just do the same thing we just did.
Absolutely. So now, what is f of x plus 1?
2x.
We just did it. We just did the same thing.
2x.
The x disappears, and in place of it goes what? The plus 3 is still there. Everything is still there. The only thing you've done is wipe the x out and put what was in parentheses in place of it.
I have a question.
So what I did was I said, what is g? G is x plus 1. So I replaced that with x plus 1.
So basically you're just plugging in here.
You're just continually plugging things in.
That's all we have.
Every week,
How's this hard?
Who said that? Andrew?
No,
Caleb?
F was G of X.
Watch it.
Yes.
There you go.
fractions with it.
What's the name of his name?
I told you it's going to get harder as we
I said I
go.
was picking it up and not.
This is composition. Let me define another f and g.
What is it?
Let me do x minus 5.
Right.
First thing I want you to find. First thing I want you to find.
X squared minus 5.
F of 1.
So you plug in X.
Oh.
So it'll be 1.
1 replaces the x.
Oh, yeah. So cool.
Exponents always come first, and then we add.
That's the F.
Yep. If you're plugging in a number, you should get a number back out. If you're plugging in a variable, you're going to get a variable back out.
You're not making no sense. That,
There you go. Why do you have the equal
So what happened
sign?
to the exponent?
what happened to damn Z, man?
What?
You have the equal sign. That's the looks like it's different.
These are different F's and G's. I have new F's and G's.
Second power.
So you just, basically
The one is from
So look, I redefined F and G. I wrote 2 new ones so you could see. And I found F of 1, which means I take F of X, I erase the X that was there, and I replace it with a 1. So it's not X anymore, it's 1 squared plus 3. And then I just
So on the
simplify.
homework, it's gonna be F1. It's gonna say FX and then F1.
It's going to always start by giving you F of X and G of X.
So it's gonna look just like that on homework.
Some of them, yes.
What 5 at?
What 5? I didn't even use this one this time.
Wow.
Because it said find F of 1.
Alright, well then don't you gotta add that to it?
So it's just unnecessary.
So that's just,
Oh,
that's
there.
only if it says F and G. Man, these math wizards are
God.
confused.
Y'all, this was the very first example I did. Y'all are way overthinking it. Use the one that's referenced. Now,
You just,
I think the real
What was the point of
said it's gonna be hard.
because we're going to do multiple examples with these two right here.
I got you.
Look at this one.
oh. You gonna erase the top? You just plug that F into that X.
You're exactly right. So now I am using both of them. This one, the first one I was only using F. Look at what I defined. F of 1. Now I'm using G and F. This time I'm going to take F. What is F? X squared plus 3. That is going to replace the X in G. Does that make sense?
No.
So,
You
hold on,
don't
hold
want
on. So the f of x is gonna replace the,
All right, remember, whatever is in parentheses takes the place of X.
I got that.
So why aren't you using that X minus 5?
And then you would like.
I'm fixing to. I haven't finished yet.
So it's G.
Step 1, step 2, step 3.
What?
I didn't even write it on there, so
There's just that one step. You plug in what's in parentheses to the outside.
Alright, I got
So
that.
basically, instead of G equaling X minus 5, it's gonna equal X to the second 5 plus 3.
Minus 5.
Huh?
Yes.
No. GX.
All right, look what I've done. Look at the blue. The only thing I've done right now is I've replaced, I said, wait, I know what f of x is. F of x is x squared plus 3.
Alright, so you just putting that in for the first X.
Yep.
So you ain't putting it in for the second X.
Now I am. Now I'm going to. Look. What is g of x squared plus 3? Everywhere there's an x in g, because whatever is in parentheses replaces the x.
I guess you just confused me. I don't know what you're doing.
alright,
Yes, the 5. So g, look at g. Remember, g of x is x minus 5. It's not x anymore, it's x squared plus 3 minus 5. Can you still see the formula there?
Yeah, why didn't you just do it?
Because I'm trying to take it step by step.
At least we're using our notes for this thing.
Yes, you do get to use your notes for this thing. All right.
Sense, right?
Of course.
There's nothing to distribute here, so I can combine my like terms. 3 and negative 5 is,
So you distribute that?
you're done. No, that's done. You're done.
That's G. So G equals that. I gotta break that down.
You just gotta simplify it.
How you get T?
Positive 3 and negative 5 give you negative 2.
so we do that x
So we
squared
can't
plus 3 out of
multiply.
Not unless there's something in front to multiply it by.
There is, you don't see that.
See what?
Square and that 3 right there. That 5 right here.
Yeah.
Alright.
Where you see a multiply. That says subtract 5, not multiply by 5.
5 is in the front.
If the 5 was in the front, I would distribute it through.
Oh, alright,
Then
okay.
you do this with all of them, plus, minus, subtract, plus, minus, plus, subtract, division.
Let's go the other way with it.
Alright, hold on. So you're gonna do,
Right.
Inside out, work inside out.
so you're gonna put x minus 5
Yes.
to the second plus 3.
Yes. So it's not x now, it's x minus 5, but I have to square it plus 3.
But you said that x goes away, but the x.
The x did go away, and I replaced it. No, no exponent, no number in front, nothing. Just literally only the x. Anything hooked to it stays. Only the x.
So if it was 2x,
It'd be 2 times, and then you replace the x.
Where did the 2 come
The 2 came from the original problem here.
I think we,
I think you are too, because you just have to. You have to look. It literally, it's only replacing the x. Whatever's in parentheses is just replacing the x. I used to do an activity where I put post-it notes here. And you literally lift the x off and put the whatever you're plugging in there. You only replace just the x.
alright, so let's go to the next step.
No, this is composition. This is composition.
Yeah. Okay. I
Now, I do have to simplify once I plug in, and because I'm squaring this, and there's a minus in the middle, I'm going to have to FOIL that out.
Whoa. Foil.
FOIL.
Hey, don't it gotta be a plus?
What's got to be a plus?
And it's an x minus 5 and x plus 5.
That's if you factor. You're thinking difference of two squares.
Man, this ain't got two in the same thing.
When you got an exponent of 2, that means write it twice.
Oh. How do you know what foil again?
You distribute the FOIL. X times x is x squared. When you have, when in parentheses, there's something with a plus or a minus in the middle, you know to FOIL. Yep. Minus 5x plus 25, and then I got the plus 3 on the end.
Alright, let me count.
5x against
Well, that's both of them are negative. So what's negative 5 and negative 5?
Negative 10.
Negative 10. And then 25 and 3 is 28. Record now. G, here's what I want you to try to find.
What, how?
G of x. Now I'm plugging it into itself.
Oh, that's just weird.
But it's still doable. Always work inside out. Okay?
Inside out? So
Yep.
we plug it into.
So what is G of x?
X minus 5.
X minus 5. So now I'm going to look at G, and where I see an x, I'm going to erase the x, and I'm going to replace it with what?
X5.
X minus 5.
So we do X
So
minus 5, but do we keep another minus 5?
you do. You have to keep every other part of it.
Alright.
So you gotta do X minus 5 minus 5.
Yes.
Alright.
So,
Wait, what?
So we do X minus 5 and what?
Minus 5.
Alright.
It's
It's kind of like the other one, but it was.
Why you got a G in front of that?
Because I did G of x.
So it just plugged in and then the minus 5 just goes out.
Well, that would be positive 10, right?
Are you gonna have to slow down?
You're not multiplying, you're subtracting.
5 minus 5.
Yep, negative 5 minus 5. Put it on your calculator. You're right. All right. I told you I was going to keep kicking it up a little bit. You don't get the G of x? I replace the G of x with x minus 5 because that is G of x, right? Okay. So now I take G, and everywhere there was an x, I'm literally going to cross it out and write x minus 5.
Wait. Alright, can you just
Everything else stays
Can you
there.
just work that one again?
Plugging it into itself. So when you do, guys, when you do G of x, you always, any composition you work inside out, okay? So G of x is x minus 5. Do you agree with that? Okay.
You gotta do another minus 5.
So now what I have to do, and if it makes more sense to you, look at this. G is x minus 5. I'm going to take away that x and replace it with x minus 5. Yeah, they want me to do it one more time.
X minus 5 minus 3.
Yes.
So it's pretty much just X by negative 10.
X minus 10, yes. No, you were about to say x by itself.
Yeah, I'm about to say X.
I know.
Alright, I got it.
Okay?
Get it done.
There you go.
So we're good.
There's another,
Alright, so you gotta do,
Kind of.
so you gotta do X minus 5, X minus 5.
All right, look, what did I tell you? Compositions always work what?
Inside out.
Inside out. So my first question to you would be, before we said what is G of x and we replaced it. So now I'm asking you, what exactly is G of 2?
You do 2 minus 5.
It would be 2 minus 5, which is what?
What? -3.
What is g of 2, Bryce? If you plug 2 in for the x and g, what do you get?
Just plug it in.
2 minus 5.
Look,
G
you
of
replace
X.
the X.
G of X. Where you getting to?
Look at the problem.
That's easy.
What is g of 2? So I took g and I plugged 2 in.
Alright.
So now I'm going to replace g of 2. Before we replaced it with x minus 5. Now I'm going to replace it, yes, with -3. So now the question is, what is f of -3?
That's just -3 squared plus 3. Which is 9 plus 3, which is 12. Not
Yes. All right, I'm going to pause a second. So I literally just replaced the x with 2x minus 7. Now, Bryce, this is your favorite thing. What happens when you have a negative exponent?
Hell if I know. Flip it.
The 3 stays up top.
Huh?
The 3 doesn't have a negative exponent.
Oh, so we just put 1 on the bottom.
This has the exponent on it. Look at this. The x, anything that is x has the negative exponent, so it moves and becomes positive. We're doing it now.
You put a 1.
I put a 1 to hold the place when there wasn't anything there.
How about you put a 1?
If there's nothing there.
So 3 was there, you put a 1.
Yes, yes. If it was just x negative 1, yes, you would do a 1.
Yes.
Okay. Give me just a minute. Let me write this up with them. You can sit at my desk if you want to.
Examples for us.
All right.
Is this a problem with homework?
Mary Scott, if you want to, the stack of them are right there on the corner of my desk. If you want to flip through there and find yours. The other corner. The other corner.
Big bucks.
All right. Let's do.
That's it.
This math is stupid.
That's it.
That's the answer.
Composition is stupid.
Done.
This time.
Like a unrelated question real quick,
No.
please?
What?
When would you actually use it?